I picked up the javelin for the first time at the age of 19. 5 years of correct training helped me establish 2 world records and enabled me to travel the world developing friendships that will last a lifetime. The purpose of this video is to educate coaches and athletes on how to train properly. Once you understand the correct principles of applying leverage over the center of gravity, the javelin throw becomes easy, simple, and fun. Throw far. How you doing? I'm Petranoff. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned over the last 20 years of javelin throwing. From the basics, to the drills, to the weightlifting, on up to the actual technique itself. What made me a great javelin thrower was the fact that I always stuck to the basics. I worked on quality, not quantity, and I trained properly. The most important thing is to get in shape first, then to learn how to do the drills, and then advance on to actually learning how to throw the javelin. You must take one step at a time. Contrary to popular belief, javelin throwing is not a throw, but it's actually a pull. And the exercises that you need to develop are related directly around developing this pulling axis of leverage and center of gravity over the body. If you pay attention, watch the tape, I guarantee you'll know exactly how to throw a javelin. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Before you ever pick up a javelin, the most important thing you have to realize is that you have to get in shape and you have to get fit. And physical fitness is the key to getting yourself into shape. Weightlifting, medicine balls, swimming, developing stretch reflex, developing yourself into getting into the leverage position. These are the things that are important to establishing a good throwing base. My success was based upon good physical fitness. I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, and I wasn't the best technician, but I was very good at everything. So let's have a look at some of these exercises we'll take you through. This is the back squat. Start with a weight that you can handle and work with a straight back. Keep yourself in alignment and work a nice rhythmic movement. This is the front squat. The front squat is similar to the back, only the weight is in the front of your body. Keep your elbows up and develop a nice smooth rhythm down to the parallel level. Back jerk. Back jerk is an explosive movement that requires good timing, good explosive feet work, and we use the feet as a reference point to develop good stability over your center of gravity. Clean. This is a hanging clean, another explosive movement where you're trying to keep the bar as close to your body as possible and keep it smooth. Snatch. Snatch is one of the most difficult lifts there is and requires a great amount of explosive power in your upper body and legs. Step out. Start with no weight on the bar and work on a rhythm of trying to get equal steps on both your right and left leg. Pull over. Probably one of the more important lifts for developing pulling power for the javelin. Again, work rhythm, smoothness, and work with a weight that you can do 8 to 10 repetitions with. When doing your general weightlifting, there's a lot of specificity drills and warm-up exercises that you can do in between or during sets. Here are some of the exercises that I recommend that you concentrate on to develop a good range of motion, strength within muscle groups that you normally don't use. It's very, very important that you develop a good rhythm and smooth delivery of the exercises. Try to work at 8 to 10 second cycles to start with and build up to 20 to 30 second cycles of these specific exercises. It's important that you get the full range of motion and be smooth, and change slightly the angle of the bar from down low to up high. This is the fly range of motion drills, and take a light weight on the dumbbells and work a good rhythmic movement in just about every range of motion that you can figure out. The more the variety, the better the range of motion, the better prepared you'll be for handling development of generating power of the throw. This is a side-to-side plate exercise developed by a Swedish javelin thrower. Very good in developing good blocking motion and developing your hip flexors for the plant. These are stand-up fly exercises. You want to concentrate on range of motion and rhythm, and each side should be done equally. Keep it smooth. Again, 20 to 30 seconds of movement per set, 3 to 4 sets per training session. Here's a variety of exercises that you can do. Here's a javelin specific dumbbell fly exercise. Again, work both sides. This is a universal pulley machine special exercise. As you can see, you're trying to concentrate just on that short movement of the left arm pulling in at block. Left arm, right hip are engaged at the same time, and you leave the shoulder back. There's more weight on the right side than on the left side to hold that arm back and rotate and turn that shoulder forward. Very important, specific exercise that you can do. Again, work both the throwing side and work the opposite side. And most of the exercises that you do, you should be throwing both right-handed and left-handed, and your exercises should be asymmetrical as well. This is a great stretching exercise for your abdomens and shoulders that help develop the C position of the throw. Try to do 10-second to 15-second holds in these positions. Now we start the abdominal exercise specifics. You need to change your ranges, having your arms up high and reaching away, concentrating on your abdomens, pulling down and then bringing your arms in, getting more stomach isolation. Again, working 3 to 4 sets, 10 to 12 different repetitions. Very, very good for developing abdominal strength. Here are some more exercises. Hyperextension sit-ups. Again, work rhythm, range of motion. Do not go over the parallel position or try to sit up on the rack. When you get good at these exercises, you can add weight plates of 5 to 10 pounds to start with and work up to higher weights as you get better at these exercises. Medicine balls. The most important thing is that you get the grip right. This is a two-handed grip. It's important that the hands are behind the ball, not out to the side of the ball, so that you can develop a good pulling motion which will prevent your elbows from leaking out to the side. This is the single hand grip. Again, the hand is behind the ball, at the very back of the ball, and sits in the full grip of your hand. It's very, very important that you understand that the grip, if you can't get the grips right, how can you do the exercises right? Two-handed forward throw. Work smooth, repetitious movements. Again, sets of 3 to 10 to 12 exercises to get started with. And use your shoulders, isolation of your shoulders, not your elbows. Do not bend your elbows during this exercise. You can put a target like we have here with chalk on the wall as an aiming and focusing point, and try to do consistent repetitive movements over and over again. Here you can see the C position being developed in this exercise. Shoulders, shoulders. Here's a variety of exercises that you can do with the double hand movements. Again, keep in mind that rhythm and consistency of the throwing is essential for developing the correct pulling range of motion for javelin throwing. Single-handed throws. Single-handed throws are essential for developing good asymmetrical development in the shoulders. Again, you should do as many right-handed and left-handed throws, keeping the hand behind the ball and working on a line drive type of range of motion. This exercise is the most important in developing a good pulling range of motion. You must do thousands and thousands of these per week in order for your body to understand and to get the motor memory of the pulling motion. I do 3 medicine ball training sessions a week of between 500 and 800 medicine ball throws. Most of them concentrate on the individual arm motions like this and close up to the wall. Once your body has developed the motor memory and the action of these exercises, javelin throwing becomes very easy. Stand up on your toes, reach as high as you can and get the shoulder motion. Working the shoulder motion, shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. You can turn to clockwise and counterclockwise ranges to work on your different muscle groups to protect you from injury. Plyometrics. Obviously, plyometrics is jumping, bounding, and trying to do a repetitive movement with your legs in a ballistic exercise. Javelin throwers will do a standing long jump, a standing 3-hop jump, a standing triple jump, stadium steps, hurdle hopping, and short sprints all fit into what we will be working on in plyometrics. Standing long jump, you want to use your arms as much as you can to reach out and jump. Now, one of the most important factors of development in getting into the right position for javelin throwing is the hose drag. This is an event that me and my coach Bill Webb invented back in the early 80s, and it involves putting a 5 or 10 pound weight on the back of a garden hose. And the idea is to start off with the javelin, like you're carrying a javelin here, and starting to walk, getting the pumping motion with the javelin and allowing the weight to pull you back, and then bringing it back, letting the weight pull you back. Weight pull you back. Weight. So, again, start slowly. Let the weight pull yourself back. Do not try to lean into it. Stand tall and allow the weight to pull back, driving your legs, pulling forward. Swimming is an important aspect of my training. I swam every other day for 17 years in my career, and is probably one of the reasons why I was never injured. It creates a lot of resistance training, stretch reflex, and mobility within your shoulders and ligaments and tendons and connective tissues. Besides doing breaststroke, butterfly, freestyle, and backstroke, we did a lot of exercises that I'm about to show you right now. Imagine yourself in a swimming pool holding onto the side at about chest level. What you want to do is to start out with would be to start moving your legs out to the side in this direction for sets of 10, and then reverse it, and then face this way and move your legs out to the side. Then start bringing it forward and back, and forward and back, and then reverse it and go to the other side. For every exercise you do with one leg, you do it with the other. Then you stand with two heads along to the side and start rotating your legs in here this way, like this, and then with this leg out this way, like this, and then bringing your leg straight back, bringing your leg straight back, having your knee up. Start working this way, this way, this way, and then the opposite, this way, here. Have your back and butt against the wall and start rotating your arms in this movement. Mix it up, make it match. Pretend like you're flying, getting in circles, bringing one arm through this way, bringing the other arm through this way, standing up and doing motions like this, making them going wider, bringing them in tighter, bringing them down in between, here like this. Bounding, plyometrics in the water, jumping, running, like this, back and forth, moving to the side, getting these type of movements, all with the water up about this level. All these types of resistance training, getting yourself in here like this, inside the water, is excellent for getting mobility. The biggest misunderstanding in javelin throwing is the fact that most people want to throw with their arm instead of using a total body movement. They have to learn to where their center of gravity is in order to apply leverage. So, this is what the center of gravity involves. If you were to put your 2 feet here underneath this javelin, the center of gravity would be straight down from the top of your head right to where in between your 2 feet are. That becomes your center of gravity. So, if you're going to carry a javelin, the best place to be able to carry the javelin is right over your center of gravity. A lot of people want to carry the javelin out here, or they want to carry the javelin out here. And then when they draw back, they want to bring the javelin back here. But now the center of gravity is totally away from where they need to apply force with. So the first thing that you must understand is, in order to start the process of throwing the javelin, you must be able to apply force right directly under beneath you, and keeping the javelin as close to that center of gravity as possible. Let's talk about leverage. Leverage is applying force over the center of gravity and getting the most amount of force against the block and lift of the javelin throw. If you don't have leverage, how are you going to throw a javelin far? So let's talk about leverage. Leverage involves, if you were taking John's hand here, and I'm trying to utilize force from pulling. Most people want to pull with their arm this way, instead of using the pulling leverage over their center of gravity. That's where the pulling of a javelin comes from, right here. Okay, not here on the arm. You don't have much strength here. Here, you're using your big muscle groups. That is where leverage is started. So let's apply leverage to the javelin throw. If you have your 2 feet underneath your center of gravity, as I explained to you before, which sits underneath here, take this first cone in front of me. The javelin handle is underneath, close to my head, off my right eye, the forehead. The left hand is pointing at the target, and I bring the javelin straight back and pull at the target. The most common mistake that people utilize is bringing rotational movement into the throw. When they stand here like this, they bring the javelin and they turn their body away from the javelin throw. That's the biggest mistake that you can actually make. Leverage, you must be able to stay forward, chest forward, hips forward, shoulders forward, and bringing the javelin back this way over your center of gravity, and not allowing yourself to leak out to the side. As soon as you leak out to the side and try to apply force, your body will have to compensate for it. Very, very important. Let's try it with some beginners now. Why don't you take a throw and try to hit that cone right there. Okay, not bad. Okay, on his last throw, he had some major problems. Number one is, this must be pointed at the target. The left side is the actionary side of the throw. This is what initiates the throw when you actually start to pull on the javelin. This is sitting out too far from his body, which needs to come in closer, so that he's actually looking down the shaft and aiming at his target. You have to aim at a target in order to hit it. So let's try it again. Okay, much better, but he used his arm a little bit too much. Okay, let's recap what he did wrong. This is the most important thing, pointing at the target, line of sight. This is pointed at the line of target, elbow a little bit more in there, and when they bring the javelin back, only bring it keeping this elbow in from here, right from there. Now pull and throw. Much better. That's application of force over the center of gravity, leverage. Right. Now that we have an understanding of center of gravity and leverage, how do we actually create the pull? What is the chain reaction that actually initiates the throw to the end result of the release of the javelin? Now that we have the javelin in the carry position and our left arm is pointed at the target, we can go from a standing position into a one-step. Now once you have your center of gravity, and you must understand that the big mistake that people make is they want to turn sideways here, instead of keeping the center of gravity directly in front of them, and their hips facing forward, their shoulder facing forward, their left hand facing forward, pointed at the target. The javelin's at the target. They bring the javelin back here, and the initiation of the throw starts with the left arm driving in, rotating the right shoulder, throw, and follow through. All right, let's try it again. Remember now, your center of gravity, you're underneath. The javelin is underneath your center of gravity. You're looking right down the shaft at the target in front of you. Your left hand's at the target. Your right foot comes straight back. The javelin comes back here. The pull is initiated from the left side and the right hip driving forward, creating stretch reflex on the shoulder, and then follow through. It's like a golf swing. A lot of people in a golf swing, remember the follow through of the golf swing. What javelin throwers tend to do is to hit a ball like this. They'll take the javelin and throw it this way with no follow through. So if you do the pull correctly and follow through with the throw, you'll get better results. He's got the grip right, okay? Now, point your left hand. Now, this is perfect. He's in the right position now. Bring your right foot back, straight back, okay? A little bit more to the right. There you go, okay? Okay. Now, he has never thrown the javelin before, and it's important that we learn this from a beginner point of view so that everybody understands leverage. So, he's got the javelin pointing in the right direction. His left hand's pointing in the right direction. The javelin's a little bit forward when it should be right at head level. Now he's through the center of gravity. Now he brings his right foot back, right? Draw the javelin back, right, to about here. Okay, now you can see this is the C position. This is where the stretch reflex is going to go. The initiate is with here at the left hand. Where's the javelin facing? Right from there. Pull right from there. Don't reach back. Okay, stop. Okay, he never lifted his foot. He never followed through. Remember I said the golf swing. He's going like this with the golf swing, hitting it like this instead of following through. This leg should have followed through forward. Okay, so the common mistake that people make is they step back this way. They bring the javelin out, they're way off their center of gravity, they're not balanced because they have no stability. So, what they must do is to work at this point over and over until they get it right. If you can't get this right, how are you supposed to go any further? So, bring the right foot back, javelin back, pull, throw, and follow through. So as you can see here, the reason that we use the feet and we feel it's so important is that we focus in on center of gravity and line of sight, line of target being aligned up with your body. The most important position for a coach to watch his athlete is from behind the javelin thrower, not so much from the side of the javelin thrower. The reason being is that when the athlete stands here in this position, he can see him if he's holding the javelin away from his body or too high or if the angles have changed. Secondly, he can see if he's lined up on his sight, if his left arm's lined up on his sight. When he comes back, he can see if the athlete is stepped back or is in balance. Lastly, when he draws the javelin back, is he in alignment? Is everything in good form? Then pull and follow through. You must do this over and over and over again with javelins, with throwing balls, steel shots, with knock-em balls, with anything that you can utilize to practice this leverage position. This is the most important position in order to deliver the javelin far. If you work on it properly and start adding steps to it, bringing it back and throwing, you can become very accurate. Here's another beginner thrower that has learned to develop the skills by practice. She's able to use the left side for leverage and applying the rotation into her right shoulder, good release of the javelin, and follow through. This is something that you must practice over and over and over again. All right, let's talk about the grip. The grip is obviously a very important aspect to throwing the javelin, but I think it's also misunderstood. There's three basic grips in the javelin throw. The first one is the American grip, which is held like this here. The thumb and index finger is on the back edge of the grip of the court, and it's held in between where the crevice is in their hand. When you touch your baby finger and your thumb together, the javelin sits inside that crevice. Too many times we see people holding the javelin like this, which means they're going to bring their wrist into it. Always hold it here first and into the grip, close to the forearm. Next is the finish grip, which is the thumb and the index finger at the back. Again, the javelin sits inside that crease of the javelin, there. With this back finger, the index finger, relaxed there nicely. Again, keeping it close and easy on the grip. Third is the fork grip, and the fork grip was used by a guy that lost his thumb. He invented it, couldn't throw with the other conventional grips, so he had to go to the fork grip. I use the fork grip on many occasions, have been successful with it, but now I throw with both. So the idea is that you go deep into the fingers on the grip, you hold it in firmly inside here, and nice and easy with the fingers on the back. Again, sitting nice and centered inside the hand like this. You want to hold it like a bird. If you're holding it too loose, it'll fly away. If you hold it too tight, it'll suffocate. Now that we have the grip understood, it's time to talk about the carry. The carry of the javelin is where you develop the feel and the rhythm of throwing the javelin. It's important that you practice this over and over again because it's important that you learn rhythm of the carry and the drawback mixed together. If you take the javelin here into the carry position, it's best to start practicing by walking and then slowly drawing back. Carry. Draw back. Carry. Draw back. Always keeping the javelin level and straight with very little angle of attack. Having the javelin flat or perpendicular to the ground. Not allowing the nose to rise and the tail to drop. Practice this over and over and over again. Let's take a look from the side. Side view. Stand tall. Be up on the balls of your feet. Carry the javelin level. Keep the angle of attack down to horizontal to where you're the direction that you're walking in. Get the feeling. You must do this drill over and over and over again as you're walking with the javelin. Keep it level. Feel comfortable. Draw it back. Be able to get the carry and the drawback to work together in unison. Let's talk about the line of sight. The most important thing that you must understand is that if you don't aim at a particular target, you're not going to be able to transfer the power and leverage through the point of the javelin. So we work on a drill with cones, as you can see here, lined up. And what we do is we line up the point. First we get into the right position. The point and the target, along with the left hand, is all aimed. All your attentional focus is pointing at that cone. Then you slowly bring it back, throw, and follow through. So imagine yourself, if you were to have a bow and arrow in your hand and you wanted to hit that second cone, you'd have to have that bow lined up, pull that thing back, and you'd be lined up just like here. You'd also, if you were shooting a gun, you'd also want to be lined up here. Most important thing is that you do the same thing with the javelin throw. You must become very, very accurate. To get through the point of the javelin means that if there's a donut hole or an imaginary circle around the point of the javelin, the front end of the nose, the whole shaft, and the tail goes through that exact same slot. That's called throwing through the point. So to practice that, you must be able to take a short target, draw it back, throw, and follow through, or be able to advance to a further target, the next one out, the third cone, to throw and follow through. Very, very, very important. Right, so let's recap on aiming and line of sight and hitting the target. You want to be able to keep the javelin pointed at the target. Your left hand is pointed at the target and your chest is pointed at the target. Do not allow the javelin to drift out or to drift up or down too much. This is a big problem that athletes have, is that the javelin is moving as they're trying to apply force or carry or draw back. You must practice over and over and over again to be in the correct position. From here, straight back, deliver, over and over. Now that we have an understanding of aiming, getting your body over the center of gravity, utilizing leverage, and once you've practiced that and understand the fundamentals, we're able now to go from a standing throw to a one-step throw, three-step, five-step, and seven-step throw. The most important ones are probably the three-step and the five-step throw, which helps generate the rhythm and the use of the legs into the throw. But if you're having a problem with alignment or aiming, then you have to take a step back and continue practicing with the alignment and the target throwing so that you're able to get a good, accurate throw done. This is good for safety as well as not being harmful on your body, because as soon as you start getting the javelin away from the body, it's when you start hurting muscle groups that aren't able to handle the stress. The one-step throw. The most important thing, again, is that we're pointing at a particular target. Our eyes are focused in. The right foot comes straight back, not over to the side, straight back. The javelin's drawn straight back. You pull with the left arm, which gives stretch reflex across the shoulder. Pull and follow through. Everything must follow through. Momentum must stay forward. Okay, so after the stand and the one step, here's the stand, here's the one step, we go back to the three step. Now, keeping yourself in alignment underneath your center of gravity, javelin aligned, get down into a sort of a half squatting position, draw the javelin straight back over the shoulder, and take 1, 2, 3. Throw, follow through. All right, so now after the three step, you add 2 more steps to create the 5 step. The importance here again is keeping yourself under the center of gravity, staying balanced, being on the balls of your feet, kind of nice and light. Feel light. Draw the javelin back. Keep it parallel to the ground and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 step again is just like 2 more steps added onto the 5 step. The 3 step, the 5 step, and the 7 step are all based on setting yourself up for a rhythm to drive your legs into the throw. So the sequence, the first few steps are slow and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, following through, keep the momentum going. The release has to happen. As you do your standing, your 1 step, your 3 step, your 5 step, and your 7 step, the release, if you pull with your left side, if you get the rotation of the shoulder and a good follow through, you don't have to think about the release. Everybody says, where should you release the javelin? Where should you release the javelin? It shouldn't be a thoughtful, conscious thought of where it is, because it happens naturally. There should be no thought of, should I release it here? Should I release it here off to the side? If it's done properly, your release will be executed at the right spot. I would like to introduce you to the Turbo Jav, a training javelin that will help you learn how to throw a javelin properly, indoor and outdoor. The Turbo Jav will help you develop correct throwing mechanics in a fun and safe environment. Also available is the Turbo Shot, Turbo Disc, and Turbo Hammer, as well as videos and accessories, and our brand new line of javelins called the Petranoff Legends Series, all available from the MF Athletic Company.